All right, so do another Q&A with some questions sent to me. But first, I want to address the popular topic that's been going on. And this is, let's see, share. It is, um, how do I search for things? The sugar diet. Mark Bell right now is making it very popular. He has a large platform on YouTube, Instagram, and a cult-like following. Now, it is what it is in the title, sugar diet. Okay. Um, so this is the man that he wrote a book on the war on carbs. So he was like totally carnivore, keto. He's done intermittent fasting. He's done a few day fasting. He's done water fast. He's done a lot of different types of diets and a lot of fad diets. And I'm just, I think I understand the reason why he actually does it. It's not for science, for data. It's just for clicks and views. It was what it comes down to. I haven't listened to his reels and stuff because that would be like someone like that'd be like me listening to someone talk about something so stupid. Like it's like watching reality TV shows. It's pretty dumb. But everything's scripted. They do it for views, and this is what he's doing. He's doing it for views. So I can't watch it because I just get so kind of off off put or like it's frustrating because it's a fad diet. And the problem is he's going to get other people to do fad diets. But he's been going on and on about trying to get to a specific weight, from what I gather. Um, so he's trying to get to, so he's 206, and he's been down 15 pounds because he's eating carbohydrates, I'm assuming like refined carbohydrates in the morning. And then I think he saves his protein for the end of the night. But like the carbs can be anything from what I understand. Now, carbs are going to be used for fuel, so he's very active. So he's more active than the average human being. So obviously he's putting himself in some sort of calorie deficit, but also um, I'm assuming he's just the thermogenesis, the thermogenesis of eating, especially eating carbs, is quite significant. So if you eat, so like whenever I eat a large amount of carbohydrates for like a refeed, I will start sweating. Veins, very vascular. It does cause a very high spike in metabolic response, especially if you've been on dieting for a prolonged period of time. We like to increase calories, typically carbs, not fats. So that way it can jumpstart your thyroid. So again, try to think of it like balancing out your thyroid hormones, your TSH being like the thermostat for the house. Okay. And then we want a better conversion of T4 to active T3. And I'm assuming this is what it's trying to do, right? So it puts you at a metabolic thermogenic advantage. Now, what I don't understand is, I wish these things didn't have sound. Um, is really why go why change why use your platform for something like this that you know the average person is not going to be able to do as much physical activity as you, nor do they have as much supplementation as you or resources at your hands, whether it be friends or doctors. I mean, I don't know what this guy's taking, right? I mean, he says that he's transparent, but we all know for a fact that people are not transparent online. I consider myself the most very transparent and and I look it, right? Like I'm not doing these crazy fad diets. I'm not taking an enormous amount of anabolics. I'm taking things that help me to to maintain hormonal balance because I have a family and I need to make sure that I don't uh, obliterate people whenever I get um, in a bad mood, right? So I need to make sure that my hormones are balanced, my blood sugar is balanced, so I can be the nicest human being as possible. So he said, I'm guessing that every day I'm having over 800 grams of carbohydrates. Yesterday, I believe I had 1,000 grams. So you're talking about refined sugars. Now, this smoothie had 232 grams of sugar, very little protein, and zero-ish on the fat. So again, zero fat, right? So he's pretty much having negligible amounts of fat, which that in of itself is going to make you a burning machine. Now, I don't know how his blood sugar has been dropping to where he goes hypo. I mean, I would, but he maybe has conditioned himself to where he doesn't feel the hyperthermia, or he's taking something to prevent that, right? So we don't really know what he's taking because I don't see anything here that is helping him prevent hypothermia. Plus, he's outside running, sweating, so I'm sure he's getting enough. Like you don't want a ton of sodium because you're taking all these sugars. So you can't take tons of sodium because then that would increase blood pressure to where it's going to be so dangerous on your kidneys and blood pressure, right? So I mean, your kidneys. So whenever I say kidneys, I mean blood pressure. Uh, so you're not taking a lot of sodium. So there's no way he's using LMNT. Like there's just no way. Like why would you even need to? You're getting potassium probably from like the fruits and maybe you do potatoes and stuff, but you're not consuming meat. And meat has the highest amount of potassium per serving that like red meat. So I don't understand. So now like I'm just assuming you're not using LMNT anymore if you're even associated with them. So definitely don't throw that crap on your social media platforms suggesting that other people will take it if this is what you want to do. If this is your main purpose of marketing is to, hey, I'm going to do these fad diets and I'm going to just get a lot of people to have reactions, which I'm doing now, but it's really because people have been asking me because when you Google the sugar diet, it doesn't tell you this stuff. It just tells you what Google says is like how to reduce sugar or sugar fasting, to where like you take sugar out of your diet. So this is the again, whenever you can't even find it on Google, it's not that it's some sort of prophesized holy diet that will make you lose body fat. It's literally a fad and it's a harmful one. So it's just the same way it's harmful to drop tons of body fat within a week or 2 week period because it's unsustainable, whatever you're doing. This is unsustainable. And it doesn't serve any purpose because you're literally like the ketogenic diet or the carnivore diet, I can see to control some sort of autoimmune problem or gut dysbiosis. This you're not because I don't see a lot of fiber in here because you can't get a lot of fiber with having an intake of 800 to 1,000 grams of carbs. Your stomach and your intestines just won't keep it. They'll be bloating. You can't do it again with the sodium as well. I'm assuming he's not adding that much sodium again because carbs will hold water. For every gram of carb, you hold a little over 3 grams of water, and then water and sodium, they will hold together. So you're pulling sodium carbs into your muscles, right? But if you spill over, then it goes subcutaneous. This wreaks havoc on your pancreas. Okay. Again, I don't know what he's on. Maybe he's on retatrutide, which can help with the having the glucagon and the GIP, but you're eating this many calories, you're going to have a blood sugar spike and a blood sugar drop. It's not going to just drop a little bit. Even while you're working out, man, like your body will burn through that and then you will go hypo very, very fast. Now you have to have carbs on hand over and over again, very calorically high carbs, low amounts of volume because if not, you'll get bloated. He goes on, uh, sorry for my face. So he goes on, he's like, I'm assuming that my calories are between 3,500 to 4,000. For me to lose weight with that amount of calories, I don't believe I've ever seen this myself before. But then again, I've never tracked, so I wouldn't even know. So that's fair, but he's also had a lot of fat in the past. Okay. So he's probably eating tons of calories with fat in his other diets if he's never tracked. So that gives you it, it, it it gives you a good idea that he's not even tracking this for data, right? Like he's not. You'd have to have a controlled diet before starting this diet if you're trying to compare. The problem is he just said in that post himself that he didn't know how many calories he's getting before. So if you don't know, how are you able to have any sort of conclusion or thesis or hypothesis of what this diet is actually doing? You see it visibly, but also people with type 1 diabetes, they can drop fat really fast. They can get skinny really fast. They can lose muscle very fast. He's keeping his muscle. So we're assuming anabolics, definitely HRT. So HRT means testosterone plus other uh, hormone. So like maybe anavar. I could see him doing anadrol. I can see him doing uh, certain peptides like MOTS-c. It's just to help maintain and retain muscle. HGH, I mean, look at how much HGH maybe he might have. And there's HGH that have a diuretic built into it, the mannitol, so you won't have that water retention from the that. So HGH plus the diet that's high in carbs and moderate in protein and low in fat is a great way to burn fat. That's what I'm doing. That's what the majority of people do, and it's very sustainable. So I would just say beware of this diet. The risk that you're going to burn out your pancreas because you are not him, you have to have very resilient organs. And the problem with Americans nowadays is that you do not have resilient, uh, metabolically enhanced or metabolically strong uh, organs. This guy does, and again, we don't know what he's on. You're a normal human being with a 9 to 5 job, and you're going to burn something out in your organs. You're going to cause diabetes. You might not see it during that, but during that diet, but you're going to have long-term effects. And he's already been through other health problems. I mean, he's been very, very heavy powerlifting. He's been on the bodybuilding stage, getting very, very lean. So he's been both ends of the spectrum, plus all these other diets that whoever he has on the show, he just seems to follow to see how it works. The problem is that there's no risk management. So his kidneys and blood pressure are going to be a problem. Your pancreas is going to be a problem. Your blood sugar fluctuation, your insulin. So like whenever we're talking about insulin, when he and again, I haven't seen any blood work pop up from him, which is another crazy thing. You need to get your fasted insulin and then your fasted glucose, right? They're two different tests. Fast the blood, the ABA1C doesn't tell you your fasted insulin. Okay. I mean, what is his thyroid's got to be cranking, but you also don't want to have a very, very low TSH and a very, very low T4 and a high T3 and a high reverse T3. So, or you don't want a very low reverse T3. So, again, it's great that he's getting all this content toward him. He's getting a lot of views, he's getting a lot of questions, but it's not healthy. That would be like me saying, "Hey, why don't you just do a bunch of meth?" Right? Because a meth diet would work. I mean, look at all the skinny meth heads. Look at all of them. It's crazy, right? Meth, cocaine, just do a bunch of that, and you're set. And you can have, you can eat your Doritos with fat in there too. You're freaking on meth. You're on cocaine. You're on all these stimulants, these amphetamines. You see what I mean? How stupid this is? And and I like Mark Bell, but this promoting this is very dumb. Uh, it's just a very dumb idea. I think it's very selfish of him in a way to dupe consumers because let's face it, Americans are gullible. Like I said before, the freaking reality TV shows that people believe are real, like that Mormon wives. I grew up Mormon. Okay. First of all, I never even knew what soaking was. So I just found that out recently. So that never went on. And no, there's not many wives. Why would you, if you're a man, why would you want more than one wife? That doesn't logically make sense. You already get in enough arguments with one wife. Why would you need more? That's pretty freaking dumb. There's there's another cult that calls them reformed Mormons. That's not the same as the Mormons that are in Utah, in Salt Lake City with their temples. That's not them. So people are pretty stupid to even believe in that. All that's scripted. Those even if those girls grew up Mormon, then they're probably not Mormon anymore. They're like me. I don't follow Mormonism, right? But they probably got what's called excommunicated because they're dishing out all this crazy talk, which I haven't seen anything. I don't know what the show's about besides they claim to be Mormon wives. And I guess they talk about Mormon stuff growing up or the things that they do, like they're swingers, which I'm sorry, there's no swinging with Mormons. Those people haven't even had sex, right? So, like, it's it's dumb. Why don't you get information from someone like me who's very, very honest and I've been inside the temples and I've held positions in the temples, and there's none of this crazy crap that's going on. To me, it's just a religion that has a lot of hypocrisy in it because they have something called the word of wisdom. And the word of wisdom is to keep your body like the temple, right? So to keep it worthy. So they abstain from alcohol, hot drinks like coffee, and they're supposed to abstain from caffeine, but that's not in there. But the problem is they talk about everything in moderation with the word of wisdom. There's no way you are overweight, obese, and you're eating in moderation. So there's a bunch of fat mother effers walking around their sacred temples that you have to be uh, that you have to be approved to be deemed worthy to go into these temples. So you're telling me that you've been eating in moderation and you're 300 pounds. You're telling me that, right? So you see the hypocrisy in there. Well, everything else matters, like, but I don't really need to follow the word of wisdom. It doesn't work like that. It's all or nothing with religion. I'm sorry. You know, that's why they like what there's Easter Catholics. Like you're not Catholic if you go Easter Sunday and Christmas. Like you're just not Catholic. You're just not religious, dude. And then you have like a cross on your neck or you have a whatever Jesus in your house. You're not religious if you freaking do terrible things. You can't just be like, "Oh, I sinned, forgive me, Jesus, take all my sins." No, those are just stories handed down to people to make you follow a government because government was religion, religion was government. That's how it's been built. And these people of certain religious organizations get paid a lot of money. Technically, if you read the Bible, Jesus never gets paid. You're not, nor do his apostles get paid. So you shouldn't be getting paid. You should have earned your money, retired, and then living off of your retirement. And then you become someone who leads the church, whether it be a pastor or preacher or whatever. You should not be buying anything. That's just how it is. That's the Bible that you preach. The problem is the majority of people in religion that are Christian haven't read the entire Bible. So, and I have. I was on a 2-year mission for the Mormon Church, and I read the Book of Mormon, which they have. That's their book, um, and the Bible. And you have nothing else to do for the entire 2 years besides learn a language if you're learning a language, or you read that. That's your entertainment. You don't listen to music. You don't watch TV. You don't go to the movies. You shop on Mondays and play basketball on Mondays or walk or run or whatever. And then that's it. That's your life for 2 years. And you pay for it yourself. Pretty dumb. Um, but anyways, you get good life experience, I guess, from serving a mission. You learn people skills, how to be able to talk in front of strangers. You literally knock on a door and try to start a conversation to convert them, to persuade them, manipulate them into just being part of your religion. So switching like a Buddhist to a Christian, it's pretty hard, right? But it's good skills. So, um, anyways, again, Mark Bell, very disappointed that he's doing this. It shows his true character, and I guess all this fame, money has kind of got to his head, and he's I think, a very unlikable guy and a very dishonest guy because there's no reason to promote this. Just do it yourself without promoting, and then gather all the data, which you should have done before. Again, I will repeat this. You needed to have data of your diet and lifestyle and everything before starting this. And so you need to have 6 months, three, minimum 3 to 6 months of you doing all of your stuff beforehand. And then you switch to the sugar diet and then you get off of it and go back to what you were doing, maybe modulate just one variable. So then you go back to what you originally were doing, but you modulate one thing. Okay. So you change one thing. That's how you create a study. That's how you get a study. And you have blood work, which I haven't seen anything posted blood work wise. You show because the problem is if he shows blood work, a full hormone panel, mineral panel, lipid panel, I mean, just a full workup, we can tell what he is taking. Like we don't know the exact like if he's taking testosterone cypionate or enanthate, like we or sustanon, depending on how he does his injections, but we can tell that he's on something. You can tell through these tests, even through ultra-sensitive tests as well. So if we have the right testing, then we can tell that he's on other things to to manipulate his own study to create a bias. That's all I'm saying. And maybe the people that he's having on the shows that support the sugar diet, maybe they are the ones that maybe he's paying, maybe they're paying him. So maybe they're paying him so they get exposure, and then uh, and vice versa, right? So they both win. So Mark's getting the cut, and then those people are getting residual um, like income from crossover of subscribers, and then maybe they sell books and other things. Anyways, it's really, really dumb. Do not do the sugar diet. Highly recommend not doing it and stick to something that is sustainable for you. Find out your right macronutrients that you need to be able to have a life that is susceptible to losing weight, building muscle, and being able to not drive yourself in or dig yourself into a large hole that you cannot get out because you will rebound with these ridiculous fad diets. You will. I promise you, you will. All right, question. Fix my calories, please. Okay. Well, this is whatever. Um, so this guy, I'm losing, so he's been tracking calories for about 6 months. I'm losing 2 pounds per month on average, which is fine, of 1,800 or 1,850 calories. I was 320 on April 1st. No, no, wait a minute. On April, okay, I don't know what that's not part of it. Okay, so I was 306 this morning. Um, I weight train 4 to 5 days per week. Sometimes these questions are not, they're like a different language and I think they translate. And it's really weird. Um, I've tried to drop around, so he's dropped his calories down to 14 to 1500 and his weight loss just stops. He feels like crap. I'm also on TRT doses of Sustanon. First of all, you're not on TRT if you're on Sustanon. I don't know anybody that subscribes to Sustanon. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but your Cypionate is going to be your main one, and because yeah, Sustenance is a blend. Um, so your body will adapt, man. So you dropped your calories too much, and your body's adapting to low calories, which is why you stalled. So you need to do a diet break and get out of the diet, and up your carbs and your protein probably. You didn't say anything, and then make sure that your fat's low. Keep it like zero point 0.2 to zero point 0.3 grams for you, if you're this heavy, you don't have a lot of muscle, zero point 0.2 grams of fat per pound of body weight, because you're also on some sort of testosterone sustanon schedule, uh, which again, TRT can range from 75 milligrams up to 250 milligrams per week. So that doesn't help me. Anyways, you stalled in calories because your body um, it adjusted and it adapted to the lesser calories. So now whenever you eat food, you're going to go and store it as fat, assuming you're eating the wrong types of foods. Again, increasing carbs, increasing protein, keeping fat low. You don't need fat in your diet, not that much. So again, zero point 0.2 grams of fat per pound of body weight because you are pretty heavy still, you're in the 300s. Um, do you have a reputable place to get semaglutide and Ozempic? You're a doctor. Yeah. Uh, I'm on. I'm using 60 milligrams of 60 micrograms geez, of Clen and 100 micrograms of T4. Why? I'm cutting around 2,000 calories, 60 grams of fat, 180 grams of protein, the rest carbs. They're making me do the yeah. I drink about 4.5 liters. Now using Clen for about 10 days. I feel kind of bloated, water weight around my lower ab area. Normally I cut without Clen, so this so-called lower ab fat fold area goes smaller, very quick, but not where I am on, not when I am on Flynn. Is this normal? Did I do something wrong? Because the only thing that annoys me on my body is the lower ab area. That's your stubborn fat area, and it's where you probably have more loose skin as well, but your body will hold areas of fat. Uh, just everyone's different. Usually, if it's like the lower, I bet you're holding fat on your back too. You just can't tell like your love handle area, your back can get very, very lean. So it's not just your front, it's probably all around there. And that could be maybe because of you running T4. Don't run T4. Run if you're going to run thyroid medication, run T3 for sure. It's a very active form, and then you can titrate up and titrate down. T4 has to convert to T3. I would never recommend T4 for anybody. It's dumb. Do not do it. The clen, you're up pretty high, dude. 16 micrograms is pretty high. You're like bodybuilding doses, so I would drop that. So like 20, 20 micrograms per day should be fine. And then you can run that for a while if you're not getting any like heart issues. But when the shaking goes away, it's still working, dude. You're holding water probably to do with something with stress. Maybe you're not sleeping well. Clint has a 24-hour half-life to 36. Um, so depending on how fast you metabolize something, so you're probably not getting really good sleep. So your stress, your cortisol is very high, and so maybe creating a little bit more cortisone and retaining some water there. But again, I think a lot of it's your T4. Get some blood work done to see where everything's at. You want to check your thyroid and check your fasted insulin and your fasted blood glucose and your HbA1c to see where you're at. I don't know what types of food you're eating. Again, fat, you're fine. I don't know your height or weight, but fat, you could drop down to 50. You might be fine because I don't know your height and weight plays a big deal. Okay. Um, but yeah, I don't. It's usually the cortisol increase from the cleanse. You're just again, there's difference between fat and water. Fat, it has no snap if you pull it, and then water, like if it's just skin, it'll snap. It'll snap back. So like you can tell that this is just skin, right? But if I had fat, I don't know. See, that's all skin, right? Like if I had fat, I'd be able to grab a chunk of it. Okay. Okay. Fat loss, skinny fat. Okay, I'm not going to do all this. You can just consult me. Yeah, you're skinny fat because you don't have a lot of muscle. Focus on building muscle, increase protein, increase carbs, lower fat. There you go. Um, get blood work. Jeez. Um, any suggestions on the best way to train on a treadmill to lose body fat? Yeah, do it fasted. And fasted for me works great. But visceral, you're asking about visceral body fat. So I prefer fasted cardio. I know people are going to have everything to say, no, they're the same. I'm sorry, but they're not. Things done in a true fasted state is not the same as done in a fed state. I'm sorry. I don't care what Lane Norton says. It's just he's trying to sell shit. So, sorry, I didn't want to cuss, but like he makes me upset as well because again, they have an agenda and they're selling stuff. I'm not selling you anything. Jeez. Um, but to lose visceral fat, man, that's a lot of diet. You diet fasting is going to help you. The treadmill is not really going to help you. Just get steps in throughout the day. Fasting is the best way to get rid of visceral body fat. Fasting and lower your fat intake. Lower your fats that you're eating. Lower them. Do not add them. Lower them. Eat lean cuts of meat. You don't need that much fat to maintain a healthy lipid profile. Getting rid of, serious question, getting rid of intestinal waste. How do you, people carry around 5 to 10 pounds of extra poop in the gut, which leaves them feeling bloated. Hey man, I don't know. It really depends how much food that you're eating, but I poop every single day, probably about for sure in the morning and usually like two other times throughout the day. And I've been known to like have 5 bowel movements a day. It really comes just down to stress. Fasting helps. So reducing stress, increasing water consumption, fiber consumption, something that your body is not going to be intolerant to. So a lot of foods that you eat are you're intolerant to. Um, so find out what they are, whatever makes you bloated, take them out of your diet, and then see what happens. I get in 2 gallons, sometimes more of fluid, depending on how much how voluminous my food is. If it's not as voluminous, but it's higher in calorie, I can get more water in. If it's more voluminous, like more veg, then I have to reduce my water. But a lot of I work out in the morning uh, on a fast of solid food. So I don't, so I have a protein shake with carbs. So like whey protein isolate in the morning with carbs. And then I have intra workout with carbs. And then post workout, I have I have a isolate protein with carbs. So my first three uh, calorie intakes, so macro intakes, are all liquid. And then I eat my other solid meals later on throughout the day. And that helps me maintain a solid food fasted state while I'm getting all this water in. I get over a gallon of water by the time I'm through. I'm at like a gallon and a half to close to 2 gallons maybe. So I'm peeing a lot. And I also have morning bowel movement. And then I have another one after the gym, or I have two in the morning and then one after the gym. So just get your steps in as well. Steps help move your food down your body, helps gastric emptying time to be increased. I'm not doing your first cycle stuff. Oral carnitine. Um, I gotta go get something to eat. Um, so I don't like oral carnitine that much. I mean, if it's the only thing you can do, that's fine. It does high amounts of oral carnitine does increase TMAO. Injectable carnitine is going to be better for, I don't really think fat loss. I think more for nutrition partitioning and for androgen sensitivity increase. So any percentage of androgen sensitivity that we can have, I think that's going to be great. Inject it in your shoulders uh, intramuscularly. And I would go up to like, I mean, people have gone up pretty high, but 600 milligrams seems to do the work. Split it 300 and 300 in each side and have at least 30 grams of carbohydrates alongside with it. I think that's the best way to use it. You can also increase performance as well that way. Injectable is my way to go. Oral just makes me have diarrhea. You only absorb 10% of it. Yes, 10% of it. I know there's other people like, no, you absorb more. You don't, dude. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's 11%. My bad. Um, but absorbing the 11% plus getting TMAO is not worth it in my opinion. And monsters do not have a lot of L-carnitine. I think there's like 32 milligrams of L-carnitine. We had to look this up because of Merrick Health. They claimed that my wife's TMAO was a little on the higher end because of the monsters that she drinks. And I was like, that can't be true. Let's reverse engineer Monster, or let's call Monster or email Monster. And let's see how many. And guess what Monster came back with? 32 milligrams of carnitine. It's like around there per like the regular can, not the small guy, not the big guy. So you're absorbing 10% of that. So you're telling me 3 milligrams uh, carnitine is increasing my TMAO. I'm getting more out of red meat, you retard. So that's about it today. Yeah, I feel like my true self is coming out. I'm not a very tolerant person when it comes to just stupid questions or stupid people. So, all right, leaving it there.